All right, guys, you're looking at the thumbnail, you're looking at the title of the video. You already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Guys, before I introduce the clip here today, all right, I wanted to talk to y'all real quick. I want to tell a quick story of something that recently just happened to me. I'm going to wrap up the clip here in a quick second. It'll all make sense. Bear with me, okay? I was recently out to dinner with a couple of friends. Some of the people in the friend group are new. I don't know them. The topic of dating, relationships came up. Now, these people don't know about what I do. They don't know about the YouTube channel. So we just began to have a conversation. Okay. Within this conversation, one of the young ladies is a PhD candidate. Okay. She's about 27, 29 years old or something like that. And the conversation began to go into her options on the dating marketplace. And in essence, she was complaining about the state of the black man, okay? Saying that most of the dudes that she comes across in dating can't get on her level. I said, level, you say? What is it that you mean by level? Describe what your level is. She began to talk about, well, if I'm a PhD, he's got to be on my level or better. He's got to be doing X. He's got to be doing Y. He's got to be doing Z. Okay. The first thing that I went to, okay, and meanwhile, I've just met these people, so I don't want to kill a potential relationship into the future by, you know, saying outright shit that'll make them hate me, you know, because a lot of people hate the truth. But it is what it is. But what I began to talk to her about was that, listen, I think one of the greatest lies that modern women have been taught today is that this concept of living in life independently, right? Working on your education, working on your career, working on how much money that you will make, to a man looking for relationship. None of that stuff matters, okay? It matters to a degree from a respectfulness of what is their purpose, okay? But it really doesn't matter, especially to dudes that don't care about 50-50. I went on to conclude that there's a lot of young women today that don't understand that the longer that they focus on all of these things that typically don't matter to men in relationships, right? And the less time that they focus on not healing past traumas from toxic relationships and or environments that they've been raised in the past, the more that they don't focus on crafting and shaping their bodies to the best version of their bodies, the more that they don't understand the type of dudes that they want, what do those dudes want, the more that they seem to shy away from things that men typically want, the peace, the ability to nourish through preparation of healthy foods, and the ability to inevitably support a dude that is working hard to provide for a family. The longer that they don't understand these key concepts and ideas, the longer and the more likely that they will live a life of inevitable emptiness and aloneness. As I'm saying this to her, I'm looking at her in the face, and it's like her eyes are rolling in the back of her head because it was mixed with a degree of contentment as well as shock as well as anger. But I also tried to soften the blow and say that, listen, there's women that can do both, that can go on this career path and then also do her due diligence to be of marriageable material, but this has to be an exceptional human being. This has to be an exceptional and stellar woman. So essentially, guys, and, you know, thinking back to a conversation where we're trying to build rapport amongst people, interjecting red pill truths to ladies today. And what's hilarious is that I was looking at a couple of dudes around the table that are like ultra instinct blue pill. And it's like their eyes also are rolling in the back of their heads as well. Cause like those dudes over there, like I had heard the words like toxic masculinity brought up in terms of dudes who look for submissive women. It absolutely blew my mind when I heard that, but I was trying to maintain frame and focus because, you know, in my mind, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's why we have YouTube channels like this, to continue to help men make the correct steps forward so they don't get fleeced after getting married. Nevertheless, the great Jordan Peterson actually echoes extremely similar thoughts. So let me play that clip right now.
Most young women are taught badly that the most important thing that they'll do in their life is their career, and that's simply not true. It's not true for most people, and it's certainly not true for most women.
I certainly wasn't taught that myself. I feel like I'm doing quite well in my career, but I still have pressures. People who are saying, you know, when are you actually going to succeed properly by having a baby?
Yeah.
I kind of find that slightly offensive. I'm 38.
Uh-oh. 38.
I feel like I've got through my early 30s without almost luckily, when I look at what my friends have to deal with their children.
Notice what she says there, okay? She looks at her friends and she considers herself lucky at 38 years old to not have built a mini kingdom, a family, so to speak. Watch Jordan's response. I think that he handled this tremendously, okay? Let's keep going.
I almost feel a little bit blessed. What do you say to that?
I don't know what blessed means.
Well, I would say that it starts to get pretty lonesome in life after 45 if you don't have a family, you know, and so it's easy to consider the utility of an intense career, and like you have a very high quality career too, you know, that's something that marks you out from let's say more typical people, and perhaps that's worth more of a sacrifice, but you know, you're going to live till you're 90 in all likelihood, and it's not easy to consider your life across its entire span, and there's something to be said for developing a very close-knit, intimate community around you if you can manage it. You have children and then you have grandchildren, and that, to me, what I've experienced in my life, although I've had a very productive career and a very interesting career, it's definitely been the case for me that my family has been more and more important to me as I've got older, and I don't think that that's a uncommon experience.
Okay, I wanted to show that because I absolutely loved the way that he chose to answer that question. And I think that if I was to go back and do that conversation again, it would be somewhere on the exact lines. I appreciated the soundbite from Jordan, but the context of our conversations were inherently different. He was talking from the context of strictly an age perspective, and when I was having a discussion with this young lady, it was from the perspective of her available options, because she's still 28 years old or something like that, so she still has options available. But in essence, the mistake that she's making, and a lot of highly educated women are making, is they feel as though when they reach a certain level of knowledge or education or whatever it is, somehow that's going to afford them a man of the same caliber or better. And that is wrong, wrong, wrong. One of my responses to her is that she was more than likely removing men, capable, ready, willing, and able men, from her option set because she deems them as unworthy from an education or a financial perspective, but that she is over-indexing her own value in the dating marketplace because she's using incorrect criteria. She's using the criteria that women use to judge men, which is incorrect. You have to go by the criteria of the man that you want. What is he looking for? Okay. And if you equalize that, you are essentially cutting off 70 to 80% of men that can make you happy into the future because you are incorrectly establishing your dating value. I said at the beginning of this, and my point remains, one of the biggest mistakes that young women do today is that they take these metrics of how men are established, value within the dating marketplace, and they apply it to them. If you got a young lady like that into your life, which I'm sure the majority of us do, send them this video so they can get the proper explanation. Shout out again to the great Jordan Peterson, always breaking things down in a way where, as an orator, I love to try to model. Okay, he's a fantastic example of how to handle conversations where people don't agree with you. There's maybe a degree of conflict, maybe there's a degree of emotion involved, but to do it in a measured way where you never lose frame, okay, and you communicate your points succinctly. Brilliant, okay? Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, feel free to hit me up, all right? Until next time, YouTube. Peace.